Chapter 1. A Pioneer Lost. We start with the loss of a quiet revolutionary. Jason Collins, the former Stanford star and the NBA's first openly gay active player, has died of brain cancer at the age of 47. Collins was not a superstar in the points-per-game sense. He was a journeyman center, a screen setter, a defender, and that is precisely why his coming out mattered. He was not a Hall of Famer trading on legacy. He was a working player, putting his career on the line in real time. When he stepped onto an NBA floor after publicly coming out, he changed what was possible in American men's team sport. More than a decade later, the number of openly gay active players across the 4 major North American leagues remains shockingly small. That is the uncomfortable headline buried inside this obituary. Collins kicked the door open, and remarkably few have walked through it. His death at 47 is a personal tragedy for his family and friends, but it is also a prompt. Sport told itself it had moved on. The evidence, 10 years later, suggests it has barely started. Chapter 2. Arsenal's statement shirt. From a story of legacy to a club trying to build one, Arsenal have confirmed the kit they intend to wear in a Champions League final, and the decision is being treated as historic. That word matters. Because Arsenal have not been a regular feature of European finals for a generation. The last time they reached the Champions League showpiece was in 2006. For nearly 2 decades, this club has been a Premier League story, occasionally a domestic cup story, but never quite a continental one. Confirming a final kit, ahead of time, with that kind of fanfare, is not a wardrobe choice. It is a statement of intent. It tells the squad, the fans, and the sponsors that this team expects to be in the conversation now. Mikel Arteta's project has been about restoring identity as much as collecting trophies. The shirt is part of that identity. When a club starts marketing itself like a heavyweight, it is preparing to behave like one. Whether they get there is a separate question. But the posture has changed, and posture in elite football eventually becomes performance. Chapter 3. F1's 2-race ban. Formula One has handed out a stat 2-race ban after what is being described as a bizarre innovation. The details matter less than the pattern. F1 is, and has always been, a sport that punishes the clever. Every era has its story. A team finds a loophole in the regulations, engineers something brilliant, and the governing body decides it is too brilliant. The rulebook tightens. The innovation dies. We have seen it with active suspension, with fan cars, with double diffusers, with flexible floors. Now we have another one, and another team paying the price. The deeper question is what F1 actually wants to be. It markets itself as the pinnacle of motorsport engineering. Then, it punishes engineering that goes too far. The reality is that modern F1 is a spec series in disguise. The teams are given a narrow window to be creative, and anyone who climbs out of that window gets slapped down. A 2-race ban is not just a sporting penalty. It is a message to every other garage on the grid. Stay inside the box we have drawn for you. Chapter 4. Rousey finally speaks. A stat. Decade on, Ronda Rousey has finally opened up about the messy end to her UFC career. Her quote is telling. "Now I get it." 3 words that contain an entire arc. Rousey was, for a stretch, the most dominant athlete in combat sports and arguably the most marketable woman in American sport. She built the women's division of the UFC almost single-handedly. Then she lost, badly, twice, and the machine she had powered moved on without her. The public reaction at the time was brutal. She withdrew. She did not explain. For 10 years, the story has been told by everyone except her. What is interesting now is the framing. Now I get it. She is not bitter. She is reflective. And that points to something the UFC and boxing rarely admit. Fighters are not just athletes. They are the product. When they stop selling, they are discarded. Rousey paid for the women's revolution she started, and the bill came in the form of public humiliation. Her late reckoning with that is not just personal. It is a warning to every fighter who follows her. Chapter 5: The Transfer Carousel. Stay with Formula One because the on-track ban is only half the story. Off-track, the driver market has never been hotter. The latest round of news, rumors, and contract gossip is dominating Sky Sports coverage and every dedicated F1 outlet. And here is the analytical point. F1 has discovered that the silly season is, commercially, as valuable as the racing. The Netflix effect transformed driver personalities into characters. Now every contract whisper, every paddock conversation, every team principal shrug is content. Fans no longer just want to know who wins on Sunday. They want to know who is signing for whom.